committed to you. Fox Carolina, the 6 o'clock news starts now.
Good Saturday evening, everyone. Thanks for being with us here at 6 o'clock. I want to start with some breaking news. We are just learning that a person was airlifted to the hospital after a wreck in Anderson County. It happened along 28 Bypass near Whitehall Road. Now, the Centerville Fire Department tells us 2 cars were involved in this, a Mazda and a Suburban pulling a trailer. Firefighters add the driver of that Suburban lost control of the car, went across the center line and hit a sign. That driver was the one airlifted to the hospital. We are working to learn more and we'll update you on the details. And switching gears to a look at our forecast. Man, oh man, it is cold out there today, Bob.
As advertised, we told you it was coming, Shale, but it actually gets here, and it's just such a shock because it's an incredibly cold air mass. The good news is it's going to be a quick shot, only a couple of days, and then it's out of here. And regarding the plants, just covering them tonight is not going to cut it. You have to bring them inside. If you cover them, have some kind of heat source under them because these are actual temperatures at this hour. It's already 36 in Greenville, 33 in Clemson, 36 in Toccoa, 31 in Gaffney, Lawrence at 38, 19 in Waynesville, it's 24 in Asheville. And to add insult to injury, we've got a northwest wind, 15 to 25 miles per hour. It's really knocking down those feels-like temperatures. Wind gusts at 36 in Asheville, 24 in Anderson. The good news is the winds do start to come down. But the bad news is the temperatures are going to be plummeting as well. It feels like temperature is 8 right now in Asheville. Feels like 28 in Greenville and 30 in Toccoa and 26 into Anderson. So you get the picture here. It's incredibly cold and up high above 3,500 feet into the mountains. You have a wind chill advisory for wind chills of 5 above to 5 below. And look at these futurecast wind chills feeling like 20s this evening, already down into the single digits for the mountains. In fact, for the mountains, a lot of places will feel like 0 by the morning, while for the upstate feeling like teens and 20s. So bottom line, headed off to church wherever you're going in the morning, warm up the car, act like it's January because it'll be feeling like it at that time. And the actual temperatures, 20s and 30s, teens as we head into the midnight hours. And then by tomorrow morning, we should be somewhere down into the low to mid 20s, maybe 10 to 15, some of that fresh snow across the higher elevations. It does get better during the course of the day. Will warm it to the 50s. But look at this, near record cold Sunday morning. I'm forecasting 21. The record low was 20 back in 1998. So we're going to be awfully close. And for the mountains, your forecast low is 14. And I'm thinking pretty much 14 for you. And that was back in 1932. Look at the snow. Faust got 10 inches, 3 inches in Maggie Valley and Robbinsville, 2 in Asheville, Waynesville, 1.5 inches, Bryson City, 0.5 inch. The sun is going down. It does look somewhat inviting, but I tell you what, it's awfully cold out there. Here's Fox Radar 3D. This is the 12-hour loop. Of course, we had those big storms wake us up this morning with that cold front, and then we saw the snow showers into the mountains, and those snow showers are beginning to wind down right now as high pressure is building in, and with the light winds and this incredibly cold air mass, those temperatures really do start to tank. So we're going to keep it mainly clear, any snow showers ending across the mountains, and then moving into your Sunday, just plain cold. But it does start to warm up into the afternoon hours. That's the good news. But look at the next 12 hours for the upstate. We're at or below freezing around 7, and then we plummet through the 20s, and by tomorrow morning, right around 23 at 7, and for the mountains, you're falling through the 20s into the teens. Wow, down to about 14 tomorrow morning. 23 at 8 for the upstate. By 4, boy, it's going to be a heat wave. 53 and for the mountains, teens, and then 40s for you into the afternoon. And a friendly reminder, don't forget, clocks go ahead 1 hour tonight as we spring ahead to daylight saving time. The good news is it stays lighter into the evening hours. So that happens tonight. So daylight saving time comes, Shale, and it's really, really cold. Back to you.
That 53 will feel nice after this, Bob. Thank you. On to a developing story now. Troopers say a person is dead in a wreck in Spartanburg County. The crash happened near Chesney Highway near early Saturday morning. Now, the coroner tells us the victim is Victor Tweedy. The coroner adds Tweedy was in a drive-through at Hardee's when he just all of a sudden sped off. He then hit a curb and went across the road before hitting a fence. In Oconee County, the sheriff's office is investigating after they say a suspect allegedly crashed a stolen car twice before leaving the scene this morning. Highway Patrol tells us the crash happened around 7:30 along SC 11 when the driver went off the side of the road and hit a propane tank and a building. And then the driver took off and continued driving until they crashed yet again on George Todd Road. Troopers say the driver of that car has not been identified yet. And we have sad news to tell you about. An upstate Christmas icon known for being one of Santa's helpers in Fountain Inn has passed away. The family of Frank Hayes posting about his passing on Frank's Santa Claus Facebook page. His family tells us he passed away after battling cancer and will be greatly missed. And a student faces charges after a threat was airdropped at Lawrence 55 High School. Deputies tell us the message was received Friday afternoon, and that's when the IT department stepped in and found which device that threat came in on. Well, it was determined it thankfully was not credible. The student is now facing charges. This is in fact the second time a student has sent a threat to this high school this week. An upstate man will spend the rest of his life behind bars after a brutal triple homicide. Jeffrey Powell pleaded guilty in Greenwood County. Now, he gunned down 3 people, including a child, inside of a home on Hetty Road. Now, Powell left the scene, drove to GSP Airport, boarded a commercial plane, and then flew to Jacksonville. SLED used phone records to track him down to a hotel where he was arrested. Now, Megan Dinkins and her 10-year-old daughter Shay, along with Randy Perkins, were all killed, all family members. Megan's 8-year-old son managed to escape and then ran to a neighbor's house for help. The solicitor said Isaac's actions played a crucial part in this investigation.
One of the bravest young men I've seen in a long time, and an 8-year-old being able to get away and articulate like he did to these guys. It wouldn't have surprised me for a young man that age to go through that and not be able to say a word. But he was able to say enough to these guys about what happened to get the ball rolling on the investigation so they could get Jeffrey Powell as quickly as they did down in Jacksonville.
Tremendous actions for just an 8-year-old, and Jeffrey Powell, who you see right here, will never be eligible for parole. Well, as a woman remains missing for more than a month now, her family comes together to celebrate her 30th birthday. The message all about keeping the faith as loved ones continue to wonder where Alexis Ware may be. Now, you'll remember she went missing in Anderson back in January. Her family is holding on to hope and the belief that she is still out there tonight.
Just wanted to get together to, get the family together to let her know that we're here for her wherever she is. Whatever's going on, we just have hope and we have faith that she will be back, she will be found, and she'll be safe.
Now, Alexis was last seen at the 7-Eleven on Highway 29 North. Since then, her red Honda sedan was found by deputies in McCormick County near the Georgia state line and then brought back to Anderson County. Law enforcement has searched the ground and the air using drones across county lines. Well, now the FBI is reviewing evidence in this case. We are awaiting updates from the Anderson County Sheriff's Office and the FBI, and of course we'll pass along those details to you as we get them, but the family asks the community to continue to pray for her safe return. Now we have the latest from Ukraine. Tensions remain high there as night falls, and Russian forces continue to make their way closer to the capital city of Kyiv. This as the United States sends more aid to Ukraine. Cole Higgins has the latest there.
Slava Ukraini! Russian forces are tightening their grip on Kyiv as they inch closer to the Ukrainian capital. British defense officials say the bulk of Russia's forces are now about 15 miles from the city's center.
Now we have another day, and we take one day at a time, and each day can be the last.
Satellite images show Russian airstrikes destroying infrastructure to the north and south of Kyiv, including a massive fire at a warehouse. And just 30 miles west of Kyiv, major damage to apartment complexes, schools, and a medical facility. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says negotiations between Ukraine and Russia must begin with a ceasefire.
The enemy is bringing new columns into our territory.
We need everything. Military jet, anti-tank, anti-aircraft missiles, from nutrition to ammunition, everything.
Saturday, President Biden ordering the release of an additional $200 million in security assistance to Ukraine.
These dollars will help provide at least some additional weapons, but it's truly an unfair fight.
All of this as the human cost of the war grows. The UN says more than 2.5 million Ukrainians have already fled the country.
The problem of supplies of food and medicine. So far, we are trying to deal with it, but the situation might worsen.
Cole Higgins, Fox Carolina News.
And Russia's deputy foreign minister issuing a warning to the United States today about the potential consequences of transferring weapons to Ukraine, saying convoys with foreign weapons would become, quote, legitimate targets. And there's a lot to keep up with when it comes to Ukraine and Russia. So the best way to keep in touch with us when we get updates is our free Fox Carolina News app. Just download it now in the App Store or Google Play. And we'll have much more coming up in a late edition of the 10 o'clock news. We're starting tonight at 11 o'clock. We'll see you then.